Welcome back to the 5x5. I'm David, and this is The Drive. And I'm sick, or I'm getting sick. I don't want to claim it. I don't want to put that out into the universe, but I'm sick. So I hope you guys are well. I haven't done a Drive episode this week because I've just been distracted. My 3-day weekend, as I call it, was just filled with me doing stuff for other people. Sometimes I feel like I'm an only child, which I'm not, and you know, I just do a lot, and I think me not being able to rest, I don't know why people don't think that I need to rest, you know, and normally I don't get sick very easily, knock on wood. I bounce back pretty quickly now. Tomorrow, once I get some sleep tonight, tomorrow I might feel 100% better. And the weather's changing, that's part of it. I think my sinuses are trying to kick up. But a person needs to rest. You know, what I do during my work week on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it can be really, really stressful. I'm always doing something. I always have to be on guard, and it taxes you mentally, sometimes emotionally, and, you know, sometimes physically, and then sometimes all together. And I think I used to tell my family I need one day to decompress. No, even though I like what I do, I enjoy what I do, I'm good at what I do, but you need to decompress, and you need to be able to, like, okay, I'm not doing anything, I'm just going to veg out in front of the TV for 24 hours, laying on the sofa and not moving. Or if I want to turn over and take a nap, I can do so, and I need that. And then I'm fine, but I don't, when I had to get up at, 9 to run somebody here, and then go back and pick them up at another time, and then run around the city to find something, and then doing that, 3 days in a row, and then it just gets to be too much. And where and when do you draw the line when you need help? When you said, hey, okay, I'm tired. Sometimes I feel guilty saying I can't, but I think sometimes you have to say no. You have to say, I'm not doing that anymore. Not doing it anymore. This one time, somebody else is going to have to pick this up, but I had this enormous amount of guilt, because then I'm guilted into, well, you don't care about me, or you don't love me, or I shouldn't have to ask you to do anything for me. But like a few weeks ago, I was able to go out, had a day to even if I wanted to go out and do something for myself, whether it's go have a drink with a friend, go to a comic book store, although I have made my way to the comic book store this week, and to spend, an inordinate amount of time just hanging out, being silly. I think that sometimes helps to ease your brain, and it can make you feel a little bit less like you're working every day when you have that. I used to have a friend, I've said this 1,000 times before, he's like, David, you really need to work to live, don't live to work. He said you need to enjoy your life, and you never do. And I wish I took that more seriously when he first said it to me. I'm like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm obligated to do. And not that I feel so much as an obligation, because there's some things you have to do because there is no one else. Just like at my job, there's things I do at my job that I shouldn't have to do, but if I don't, no one else is going to. So I like being the responsible one, and but when it starts to affect my health, and people know that it's affecting my health, and I was telling them, like, I'm tired, and I don't know how many times that I've said it this past 3 days before I came back to work today. I'm like, I'm exhausted. You don't know how tired I am. And nobody said anything. They're like, oh, well. So, when do you say, okay, enough's enough? I'm not doing it anymore. When do you say that and then you can walk away and still feel good about saying no? I have issues with that. It's a control thing. I know it. But not much else has went on this week other than me being worn out. Trying to get home now so I can get some rest. I was end up talking to a coworker that I actually like. He's a nice guy. He kind of, he kind of, we had a discussion tonight about me writing him up about something. And then there was subsequent talk about me writing him up or informing, the management team, our chain of command, that this happened, it doesn't need to happen again, there can be problems. And he's like, well, he says other people had problems with it and I didn't, because at the end of the day you did your job. I'm like, well, here's the thing, I've done it myself, and I even told on myself. I just don't have any room for telling lies. That's one thing I just find completely abhorrent is people who lie and they expect you to lie, or they lie to get an advantage. That's just not me. I don't like lying. And so when you lie, people are tripping up here. I hear people cussing. See, this is what you get on the drive. They fighting and going down the street. It is 12:30. Take your ass home and stop yelling down the street at the people. Ridiculousness. But back to what I was saying. I just don't like to lie. The thing is, the reason why I don't like to lie because I'm not good at it. I'm not a good liar. When I was little, my mom I guess she probably instilled it in me to not lie because it doesn't get you anywhere. And she would tell me when she'd ask me if I did something or if I didn't do something, and she's like, yeah, you need to go on and tell me the truth. She's like, because you lying to me even though I know the truth, it's gonna make it a lot worse on you. So who wants it to be worse? Especially if you got one of them old school parents that believed in the belt. So I just didn't lie. Now my sister, on the hand, was a totally different story. She lied all the time. It wasn't me. I was the good kid. I was the angel kid. That I was mischievous, but I wasn't a bad kid. I was just into stuff. I was a boy. And so I've taken that into my adulthood to where I don't like to lie. I'm not, ooh, y'all, there's that raccoon. Look at him, he's climbing a telephone pole. See, this is what y'all get when I'm on the drive, because I live in the city. And there are raccoons over here, bigger than my Labrador. I have a chocolate lab, by the way. That's crazy as hell, but he loves David. But what's there not to love, right? But this raccoon is climbing a telephone pole, a house down from my house, and he looked like a bear. There's a bear climbing the telephone pole. That's funny. It might not be funny to y'all, but that was funny to me. If you guys have seen it, I'm driving. See, I seen it last night. And if you guys had seen, when I come outside, it was like, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I come down I come outside and I see this big furry mass with that striped tail. It was a boss walking down the middle of the street like, I dare somebody to pull out a gun. I dare you. See, they're all over this neighborhood, and there's no woods around here. There's no wooded areas, so I hope they ain't living in my house at the top, because that's not cute. It's a big ass raccoon. Amazing. Sorry, I got distracted for a second because I had a big ass raccoon climb the telephone pole. If you're just joining us, but but no, um, it's I'm laughing. I just don't like lying, so I take that into my own job, and I just can't lie because I'm not. For one, like I said, I'm not good at it, and it's not because when you tell one lie, this is nothing new. You have to tell another lie or rearrange, and I have a guilty conscience anyhow. I could be completely squeaky clean, and I would still be guilty or feel guilty about something. I probably need to go to the counselor and talk about that, but but I just, I just don't do it. I don't like it, especially when at work. And I never understood why people would lie. Um, why people would lie on their job. I guess I do understand because everything eventually comes out. It all when they say it all comes out in the wash, it really all comes out in the wash. So why make it harder on yourself to tell a lie about it? It doesn't make sense to me. And everybody thinks, oh, you're just trying to be so perfect and you just want to be, the best. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with striving for perfection or wanting to be the best. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem with that, if you do that to gain an advantage or to make somebody else look bad, I don't. And like I told my coworker tonight, I didn't do it to make you look bad. I did it because that's what I'm supposed to do. I said I wasn't being vindictive. I said I struggle with it because he's a nice guy, and I know if you make this particular mistake too many times, you can be terminated. So I didn't know if he had made any before, so I agonized over it. I even gave him an opportunity to call him to ask what happened, if I missed something or something wrong, and he didn't answer his phone, and so. So I had to do what I had to do, but people have issue with that, and I don't understand why you would have issue with somebody doing the right thing. And that's what I was saying the other day. I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, sometimes when you do the right thing, you suffer consequences as a result of it. Is that fair? Is that right? Am I wrong in thinking that, or am I living on a different planet where that's not valid? You sometimes when you do the right thing, and I guess you could say that old saying, nice guys finish last. And I think that's true because there are so many people out here that want to be conniving and backhanded and not upfront and with ulterior motives that, it's hard for somebody. And I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I am because I'm far from perfect. But there are a lot of people that think they want to choose the easy route to get to and it works for some people. I've seen it happen. Some of the people that I see that have made some advancement in their career or in their life. And I know because I know them that they didn't do it the right way. They either did it by backstabbing somebody, not for being the best, but being better at lying and conniving than the person who should have been promoted or should have had advanced. So I was like, sometimes things aren't fair, and talking to you guys has made me feel a lot better. I wasn't feeling good. I was really nasally earlier, and I just got the feeling I was getting warm, and I was having some cold chills, and I'm like, ugh, am I getting sick? And I normally know, when you're getting sick. Because when I was working at work, there's people that have been sick at work. And I know there's germs all the house, and I didn't bring my can of Lysol. And I do take a can of Lysol to work normally. I have it in my car, and I didn't take it inside today. And I knew better because I didn't know one of the people were sick. And I'm like, ugh. And it was too late because I'd already used the phone, and I had touched some stuff. And I'm really good about washing my hands and using sanitizer. I'm really good at that. But, sometimes when I'm off my game, like I had a show last night that I just kind of deleted because I was just off because I was tired. I wanted to do a show, but I was off and it wasn't good and it sounded bad. And so I didn't, I didn't keep it. It just, so I was reading a podcast or listening to a podcast or reading a blog or something, and it says you have to be okay with deleting or getting rid of a show. Because all of them are not going to be good, and some of them are going to stink. And it was a stinker. The timing was off. What I was talking about, I was and all that. I like to be a little bit more fluid, which I like doing these type of podcasts because I'm a little more fluid in how I talk sometimes, unless I'm smoking. Yeah, I smoke. Here I'm trying to get a code, and I'm smoking, but that's neither here nor there. I would go on and tell you about the guy, I'll say that for another show, who challenged me on cigarettes today at the convenience store, but I don't have the energy to talk about that or him. So I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for listening to me. It is David, and it is David. I hate when I say that. I'm David, not it is David. I'm David from the 5x5, and this is The Drive. You can always catch us at the 5x5.blogspot.com blog, or send me a tweet at the 5x5, and the 5s are numeric in both the blog address and the Twitter address, or check me out on Facebook, facebook.com/the 5x5 completely spelled out. And we will see you guys next time. Have a great weekend.